Hey, good morning. Welcome in. Welcome back. Today we have an emotionally charged, palpable energy playing out today. It's almost like the cosmos is aligning everything for the final cosmic purge. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button down below. My name is Laura. I'm a twin flame coach, guide, astrologer, and reader, and we are going to talk about the astrological energies, their effect on the twin flame collective today, and then we are going to go deeper in with some oracle and some tarot messages. And so the main energy today is Uranus backing into Taurus retrograde at 29 degrees. So 29 is a very destined degree. It is the anaretic degree, and it is the completion. And so this is really where this emotionally charged energy is coming from. But we do have three other culminating transits today that are going to add an emotional depth and emotional layers to what is going on with Uranus retrograde. We have the sun in a trine to the north node. We have Venus in that culminating square to Pluto, which I did talk about yesterday. And we have Jupiter in a trine to Lilith. And so all of these energies are working together, creating a revolution, I want to say, right? So we're closing out a 7 to 8 year cycle connected to Uranus in Taurus. And so with this going backwards, it's pretty significant. So Uranus entered into Taurus in 2018. So look back to 2018. This retrograde is going to hold a significant meaning to what was going on in your life back in 2018. For me, that was when I met my counterpart, was in the spring of 2018. And so we're closing out a 7-year cycle connected to our material world because Taurus is earth energy. It is connected to our self-worth as well because it is connected to the Empress archetype. And we're closing out a cycle connected to stability. And so whatever's been disrupted in your life or awakened in your life or in this twin flame connection within the last 7 years, it's reaching completion, I feel, with this retrograde energy. And so Uranus is all about surprises, awakenings, liberation, truth. And it's all about returning to unresolved karmic dynamics in order to clear them. So we're done with surface level, okay? And so whatever cycles were rooted in control, possessions, jealousy, security, all of these shadow Taurian themes, it's coming up to be redefined, right? Because true stability, it's an inside job. And so whatever your ego still wants to hold on to, that you're not supposed to be holding on to because it was built on a false sense of security, that's all going to come crumbling down. And that's what this retrograde is testing us all in. And so really what this feels like is there's going to be a tower moment for the karmic energy. There's going to be like this forced reckoning, truth surfacing, and that control of that karmic energy is going to start to slip away. For the masculine, I feel this is a heart awakening moment. It's also emotional liberation, but there's a chance for him to reclaim back integrity and free will. And for the feminine, this really does look like completion. It looks like the feminine has closed out the karmic cycle and she's preparing for that new chapter rooted in freedom, authentic communication, and authentic alignment, especially when Uranus goes back into Gemini next year. And so this is not just Uranus retrograding back into Taurus. Like I said, it's like this celestial symphony taking place, orchestrating a massive emotional purge. And so I feel the Uranus energy is like the trigger point. It's like the volcano trigger point. It's the point of breaking free from the false sense of security, the false comforts. It's where the universe says no more pretending, right? We can't pretend stability exists where there's only stagnation in a cycle. And so because Taurus deals with value, security, money, attachment, I feel this retrograde back into Taurus is going to reactivate everything that we've resisted letting go of since Uranus first entered into Taurus from 2018. And so I've been on this deep karmic cleansing journey since 2018. And I do feel everything is coming to the culmination for my own personal journey. But I feel with the sun in Scorpio in a trine to the North Node in Pisces, this is what I want to say is divine intervention. We see the sun sitting there in the 5th house at 15 degrees 55. Expect unexpected changes. The 5th house is the house of creativity. It is the house connected to children, short-term romance. It's the house of gambling. It's the house of fun. It is the house of sex. And with this in a trine to the North Node, sitting in the 9th house, this is a shift when it comes to our philosophical beliefs. There's a tower moment here, right? We see a tower energy sitting there in the 9th house. And really, have you manifested wish fulfillment, or have you manifested a false sense of security? Because I do feel Saturn is asking us to restructure, and the tower comes in to break us free, okay? So there is a tower moment here happening in this astrology, and Scorpio demands to release surface level communication. This is about soul truth. This is about a spiritual undercurrent of denial being brought to the forefront, and it's all about transcendence. It's all about surrender. And so the universe is helping us collectively see through emotional illusions connected to the Scorpio energy and to realign with our purpose connected to the Piscean energy. And so Uranus is the blow up point of the disruption. And this energy, I feel, with the sun in a trine to North Node, is bringing a spiritual meaning to the chaos, okay? And so it is going to bring some karmic closure and the whys behind everything that is unraveling in our lives right now. And so I want to say too, with the North Node in the 9th house, this is the point of forgiveness. It's the point of forgiveness along with the surrender and the clarity, right? And so we can't step into that new cycle until we wash away the resentment, until we wash away the pain. And so the heart chakra opening is really connected to that. Maybe after years of suppression and years of protection. And then with Venus and Scorpio in that square to Pluto, and it's already been building, this is exposure, right? This is definitely exposure. We see Pluto there in the 7th house. This is the death to a karmic relationship cycle. The 7th house is one-on-one partnership and relationships. And it's kind of the ending there. And we see Venus in the 4th house. So this could be the end of a long-standing commitment or marriage or partnership or home situation. And it's really going to expose the power struggles in love. It's going to expose manipulative dynamics and obsession, jealousy, control issues. There really is a need, I feel, for the feminine to reclaim back her personal power, because Pluto in Aquarius, I feel, in that seventh house is saying, A, you can't own another person, and B, love has to evolve into freedom. True love is freedom. We cannot control another person's free will. And the Venus in Scorpio is asking, are you ready to merge deeply? But it can only be a merger built on authentic truth. And so all of this combined with Uranus retrograding back into Taurus, it feels like a breaking of the toxic cords is really what this feels like today. And so anything built on control, anything built on fear, anything built on manipulation, it's not going to be able to survive this backing into Taurus energy with Uranus retrograde. And so it's really a tower moment is what I see here. And it's going to set the stage for freedom. And so not just for individuals, but I want to say for the entire twin flame collective. And Jupiter in a trine to Lilith, that's the wave. That's the fascinating undercurrent of waves of emotion. It is emotional redemption is what this feels like for me. And so you got to remember, Jupiter expands everything that it touches. We have Jupiter in the 1st house. This is the 1st house of self. And it's carrying with it an undertone of judgment with the world. And so there is a completion here. And I feel this is triggering the emotional healing process. Really, that's what this is feeling like, where we're needing to nurture ourselves inwardly. And I do feel this is divine feminine reclamation. And I feel all of the repressed wounds, all of the distorted feminine power, all of the rage that's been suppressed is coming to light. And the only way to heal is through emotional truth. We can't heal when we're in a state of denial. And so the only way to reclaim back our personal power is through authenticity. We can't control another person. And so the energy of empowerment comes after going through the pain, though. We have to go through the pain. And so we shouldn't have to fight for our worth, too. I want to remind you, Divine Feminine, we should never have to fight for our worth. But I do feel there could be a karmic feminine figure here that is going to experience the consequences of some type of an emotional unraveling as shadow behavior is going to be coming into the full view, is what this feels like, okay? Where the cosmic mirror is held up and everyone is going to see what it is that they've created for their lives, right? We can't deny that. And so when we blend all of these energies together, it's like a cosmic soup, right? The ground is going to shake with Uranus. The illusion of something being stable is going to crumble to the ground. And we're going to finally see the higher purpose behind all of this, behind the collapse, behind the pain, behind the releasing. And the Venus square Pluto is going to highlight all of these toxic attachments where they're going to reach like that breaking point where control is going to no longer be sustainable moving into these new earth energies. And so there's emotional empowerment here for sure, but we have to go through the purification process. And so this is really the start of a massive detox process, especially with Mercury going retrograde on Sunday and Jupiter stationing retrograde on Tuesday next week. And so this is really going to push everyone in the collective out of any karmic entanglements so we can get back into alignment. And so I feel the masculine is going to have to face some truths here because they've been in their comfort zone for too long in these patterns, particularly around relationships, finances, and the lack of emotional authenticity. And the feminine, this is all about reclaiming back your power and your sovereignty. When we step out of obsession, when we step out of pain, and we step into grace and knowing that love should never require any amount of suffering, then we are truly empowered. And I feel when it comes to these third-party karmic dynamics, they are going to reach a boiling point, right? Manipulation, control, and illusion are not going to be able to hold up anymore in these energies. And so this weekend's going to bring a lot of major revelations. It's going to bring a lot of sudden endings. And I want to say emotional breakthroughs. So we're going through destruction, but it is for a redirection. So if you would like to learn a little bit more about your birth chart, I do have a guide to the basics of your birth chart. If you are curious, comment free guide down below and I will send you the link to download the basics of your birth chart. I also have an astrology membership. So if you are really serious about leveling up on your journey, this is the perfect way to get guidance and mentorship from me in a group setting at the fraction of the cost of my one-on-one mentorship. Go check it out. We just got started last month. You're never too late to join. We're going to go further and further into the astrology as we go along through the membership. And all of the previous lessons and lives are going to be posted in the membership section on the webpage, and you can go back and watch them anytime you want. I'd love to have you join us over on the membership. Go check it out if you feel guided to. Let's dig in with some cards. Let's see what the cards have to say about these energies today. This is such an incredibly layered reading. So let's break it down. We have the victory card today is the first card out, and it's upright today. If you do recall, I believe it was yesterday it came out in reverse. But this whole reading, I just feel there's a major theme that says a crumbling of a false timeline and mastery of polarity, right? And so with this Uranus return into Taurus at 29th degree, I do feel this card indicates the crossroads of completion, right? Because there's that Two of Wands undertone of energy connected to this card. And I just feel this confirms that something definitely shifted for the collective because it's upright today, okay? So there's been a shift, whether it was internal or external. I also feel this is a strong message that the inner work that the feminine has done is really starting to crystallize, but yet there's still a choice point here that remains, right? There's still a crossroads energy here. And so there's triumph of this transformation. And we don't do that by avoiding, right? And so the victory here, I want to say, is spiritual. It might not be a material victory, but there's a reward for facing our shadows head on, because I feel we're clearing the mind, right? I feel both the masculine and the feminine are standing at a turning point. There's going to be an inner shift here. The choice is whether to embody these changes outwardly. But I feel victory is here because this is the clearing of the mind. This is the reclaiming of the vision. It's the third eye chakra. It's connected to Archangel Metatron. And there is like a Page of Cups in reversed energy vibration attached to this card. So there's a lot of youthful sensitivity. I feel a lot of cloudedness, a lot of confusion, a lot of illusion. I feel there's this mental fog in the collective where there's this distorted perception, maybe even projection, where many have been seeing what they want to see, not what actually is, okay? And so this to me says there's a major call for discernment here. To get grounded, meditation would also help. I do feel this is asking the feminine collective especially to release any fantasy versions of the masculine or the counterpart or this connection, and to only ground in through clarity. And we do that through detachment, right? Because the third eye is what opens us to that divine truth, but we also have to be willing to take the rose-colored glasses off and see the connection for what it is right now, because it's not really what was once promised, right? And we have to clear all of the mental confusion, and then that leads to that true spiritual vision. We got the heart chakra card in reverse, or the fourth chakra card in reverse, with Archangel Raphael and the garden and the gate. I feel this is where we have to heal that abandoned heart energy. I do feel there is a Queen of Cups in reversed archetype attached to these two cards together, almost like emotional suppression or blocked compassion or clinging to unhealed pain. There could be a feminine here processing some long-held grief or loss or heartbreak. And oftentimes this can be from past lives or childhood wounds. But there's a blockage here that I feel has really perpetuated a cycle of attracting unavailable or emotionally immature partners. And the heart can't magnetize a true union with a divine counterpart until we feel all of the pain that we've denied, right? We have to feel it. We have to release it. We can't deny it. We can't spiritually bypass. That's not doing the work. And so there's a deep heart cleanse, I feel, before new love can come in, or before a reunion or a union can come together, because I do feel there's like also this illusion of safety, right? So there's so many in the collective standing at the gateway of transformation, and they are aware that so much more awaits beyond the comfort zone, but yet still we hold back out of fear, right? Oftentimes we hold back out of fear. I feel there could be a karmic feminine, and we all can be a karmic, right? For somebody choosing familiarity and the comfort zone over faith, right? And so this is freedom calling, is what I feel. There's freedom here calling to step into a new experience, because staying stuck in the comfort zone really actually prevents us from growth. And I feel there's like either a karmic relationship here, or a limiting belief or emotional pattern that is preventing somebody from walking through a new gateway, okay? Bottom of the deck, didn't really get good vibes from this guy today. We get a man holding a coin. Didn't feel good vibes with this man holding a coin, especially connected to that Queen of Cups in reversed energy. I feel there's a false foundation of power here. There's a masculine that thinks he holds all the power, that, you know, I feel there's superficial success here. There's external validation. There's a masculine energy here that seeks his worth through achievement, through control. This could be a divine masculine, but I feel he's in karmic energy, and he might appear to be materially stable, but he's emotionally unavailable. This is a very self-serving masculine is what I'm feeling. And I also feel like a Three of Cups energy, a little bit like third party. And so he's got this illusion of abundance, and this masks how empty he feels inside. And I feel there's a feminine here that really needs to see through that illusion to take her power back from anybody who builds love on possession or manipulation. This too, I feel, is the false masculine template dissolving, because true divine masculine is being asked to rise. But we do that through authenticity, right? We do that without performing. So let's break down the tarot spread. Not a whole lot of majors today. Actually, there are no majors except for the moon. And so this tells me you're in control, right? The universe stepped in. The other reading that we did with all of the majors, that was like divine intervention. And this is something that's within your control, right? Within your free will. And so let's talk about the top row. Because the Eight of Swords is the first card out. There is mental entrapment here. There's a false sense of stability. And this has really held the collective captive at large, okay? So this is like the illusion of imprisonment. And it's linked to Jupiter trine Lilith, I believe, right? Because we see the Jupiter there. And so freedom comes when we choose truth over illusion. I feel this kind of feels like a very small or immature offer or potential that never grew into something, right? The page is like the seed, but it never became the tree, okay? It never became the tree. And then we go right into a separation. So it does feel like a separation is ensuing with these energies today. There is instability. There's exposure of a false sense of harmony. So the message here too with this top row, it really feels like there's a connection here that was never meant to stay in this lower vibration. It was built on some type of an illusion, and it's now being torn down so an authentic foundation can be rebuilt. It doesn't have to be rebuilt with this person, although it could be. So keep that in mind. The middle row, I just feel like truth about legacy. The central card is legacy, right? And there was a legacy here built on lies. This is a palace of lies, right? Deception, denial. There's an energetic prison here. There's a legacy that was built on illusion, the appearance of success, which masks something like dying away. And I feel this was due to some type of childlike impulsivity, creative immaturity even, or just like a lack of direction. There's a spark here that never matured into its full purpose is what this feels like. And so I gotta say there's a false legacy ending. And so this could be connected to a divine masculine in his karmic energy that's being confronted on whatever was built on dishonesty or control. And I feel there's a feminine here really doing some inner child healing and realigning with the frequency of divine partnership, okay? Bottom row, this is definitely connected to Mercury stationing retrograde. We got Mercury and Sagittarius energy with the Eight of Wands. This is messages, divine downloads, rapid, accelerated ascension. There's revelation, there's a collapse, and there's also betrayal. So it's like the final ending, 10-10. We get 10 of coins, 10 of swords, the final ending of a false foundation. There is a karmic cycle closing, and it does feel like betrayal. It feels very painful. And the sun in Scorpio, I want to say, is illuminating this betrayal. And then the Three of Wands reversed to the moon. This is the disillusionment, right? This is the rug getting pulled out from under. This is all of the false expectations revealed. And so it feels like the veil is dropping. And I do feel there was a shakeup around that Taurus full moon a couple of days ago where the truth can no longer be ignored. And so many are going to experience this rug getting pulled out from under them, but it is going to lead to liberation. And then the bottom of the deck, I think, reminds us that false happiness or anything built on denial has to collapse before true happiness and fulfillment can arrive, okay? And I think you already know this, like you know this. There was third party here. You could feel it. And so it's like the mask has slipped. The mask has come off. So let's talk about the closing oracle messages. And I did choose the past life deck because of how deeply rooted the past life energy is coming through in the collective right now. And so this to me says deep, deep, deep karmic roots and deep, deep, deep karmic lessons. These soul contracts between the twin flames and all of the third party involved in the twin flame connections, they are deeply rooted in ancient soul contracts, right? Karmic relationships return from the past for the resolution that never ensued in a past life. And so these roots run across many lifetimes. And I feel there's a current collapse here and a completion of a major soul cycle. And so the lessons we learn are never meant to be punishment. It's for our initiation. We have to be initiated through pain. And so whatever is ending now has been lifetimes in the making to complete. And you're not losing anything. You're graduating to the next level. And then we get the knighthood card. So whenever the knighthood card comes out, I do believe this connects to the knighthood and a recall of a past life of maybe sacred service connected to the Knights Templars. I always feel the Knights Templars energy with the knighthood. And so there's an integrating, I want to say too, of divine polarity. We get the male and the female card on the bottom of the deck. And so we have lived many lifetimes in sacred service. We have vows, and sometimes we do misplace our loyalty on the journey, especially within Templar or Guardian energies, right? And so the male-female card, I feel, is a reminder that the soul has embodied in both polarities countless times, right? We've incarnated as men, as women, of both polarities. And so really, the twin flame journey is not about gender. It really is about energetic mastery. And so the divine masculine must rediscover his integrity and his courage. And the divine feminine must learn to reclaim back her softness and her trust. And then together we transcend duality into divine unity. And so I want to say, like, let Archangel Metatron help you clear your mental fog, show you what illusions need to fall away. So meditate on that clarity and open up your heart chakra. Sit with the grief. Feel the grief. Let the grief move through you. Don't bypass it. Tears cleanse our energetic field. And if you want to know about tears, I've cried thousands of tears. And it is painstakingly beautiful to grieve. And I feel release the need to control an outcome. This is asking us to surrender. So when we ground in that truth with that Taurus full moon energy that came in and that demanded this embodiment, then we can walk into our truth and take action, not towards a fantasy, right? So really ask yourself, like, where have you been afraid to step into freedom? Because there's a collapse here. I don't know if you're witnessing a collapse or if you're part of a collapse, but there is a sacred dismantling here to release distortion, to release the false twin flame timelines, the false karmic attachments, the mental prisons. And all of this has to be cleared for divine template unions to be anchored into our third dimensional reality. And I feel this is where true union begins. And that's what I have for a message today. I hope this resonated. I hope if you feel like this message is for you, you'll leave me a comment down below and let me know. If you would like to go further with me with a personal reading, then check out the links below. I do think I'm going to be putting a sale on this Mercury retrograde. I'm going to probably put the biggest sale on I've ever had for some of my astrological readings. So stay tuned for that. Have a great weekend, everybody. I will see you all again next time.